It wasn't until the company team building trip that anyone realized how intense my needs could get. That night, I forgot to bring my medication, and I ended up sharing a tent with a male colleague. Right there in front of him, I completely lost control. My body reacted so strongly that I couldn't hold back the flood of sensation, and tears just streamed down my face. Once the secret was out, there was no hiding it anymore. My condition spiraled out of control because my urges were so overwhelming. When the supervisor announced we'd be spending the night at the hot springs, my heart started racing. Even the slightest skin-to-skin contact with a man could trigger an explosive response in me. In milder moments, it would hit me so suddenly that I'd be overwhelmed with intense physical release. I'd never told a soul about it. It was just too humiliating. When I was younger, I figured I'd grow out of it, but the symptoms only got worse. There was even one time I almost cried out in public. I forced myself to push through the crushing embarrassment and see a doctor, who prescribed some meds. But I forgot to pack them this time, since the trip was last minute and the location was far from home. I desperately tried to suppress the rising panic, telling myself over and over to stay in control. I lagged way behind the group. Then the supervisor suddenly announced that all the rooms were booked up, but they'd set up tents for us to make do. There weren't enough to go around, so we'd have to share. Ruth, you're with Dean. That was the situation. Me, someone with an uncontrollable condition and no meds on hand, heading into a tent with this big, strong guy. I huddled in the corner of the tent, biting my lip, eyes squeezed shut, begging myself to fall asleep while the last effects of my previous dose were still holding on. Just then, Dean came over. "You okay?" he asked in a low voice. I could feel the warmth of his body as he got close to my back. My skin tingled instantly. "I'm fine. Really," I managed. "Please, just stay back." But the sensation was already spreading through me like wildfire. I knew the intense ache was coming any second. I glanced at my phone. It was midnight, 6 hours since my last dose. The medication was about to wear off completely. Soon my whole body started shaking. A warm rush surged between my legs. I buried my face in my knees, trying not to look at Dean. If anyone figured out what was happening, they'd think I was some kind of shameless mess. I wouldn't be able to show my face at work ever again. Meanwhile, our other tent mate, Miles Hendricks, was already snoring away. I clenched my fists so hard my nails dug into my palms. The pain helped me stay a little grounded. I whispered to Dean, "Sorry, I'm not trying to push you away. I just don't feel well." To my surprise, he didn't hesitate. He stepped closer, reached out with those warm, strong hands, and gently touched my forehead. Even though he was just checking for a fever, my eyes drifted down to his chest. It was dark, but through his shirt, I could make out the line of his collarbone and the outline of his muscles. The next second, my body tensed up sharply. In a wave of deep embarrassment, I was hit with another overwhelming release. I barely stifled the sound that wanted to escape. Worst of all, the aftershocks made me tremble even more. Dean clearly noticed. "That's weird. You're flushed, but no fever," he murmured, still softly brushing my forehead and cheek. I shook harder, turning my face away, but the tent wall was right there. No escape. I clenched my jaw to keep quiet, while realizing I couldn't stay trapped in this small space. All I could smell was him. No cigarette smoke, just a clean soap scent mixed with that strong, unmistakable masculine vibe. In a panic, I shoved him away. He stumbled back a few steps. I scrambled out of the tent. I didn't even think about how short my skirt was or how obvious the dampness on my lace underwear must have been. He quickly turned away, trying not to stare, but he wasn't clueless. He seemed to put it together in an instant and hurried out after me. By then, I was completely out of control, my body burning with need like never before.